What is going on, everybody? So, welcome to a brand new episode of the Sports Talk Podcast. It is your host, Robert and Tyler from the. Fuck it.
Just that. Look, all right.
I'm sorry, the
It's your
camera's
boy.
on.
It's your boy Robert, and it's your boy Tyler. And you almost said that I was like a guest host, but I'm not. I'm co-host.
But let's get to the comments. Naomi, what is good? What is good, everybody? We are coming to you live from the Philly Sports Talk Podcast channel, and we're also coming to you live from the Spotlight Sports Network. Make sure you leave a like on both. Definitely hit the subscribe on both as well, with the notification bell turned on. We're also coming to you live from my Twitch channel as well. All my social media is linked down below in the description as well. So obviously, we all know that the football is over. Baseball's kind of this offseason was really getting heated up so far when it comes to the free agency the last handful of days.
We ended up getting Schwarber this week. We ended up getting Castellanos this week.
Absolutely.
We got a few pitchers. Some of them are like Familia's kind of meh. Like he's not terrible, but he's not the best.
I think he can bounce back.
I think he has a. Here's the thing: he's able to do that because he's had a few bad years.
Yeah, that was.
But then he also was
season in 2019.
He also had the ability to bounce back. So if he bounces back this year,
good look.
having Knebel in, having
Brad Hand in the bullpen as well.
Well, Brad Hand kind of sucks. So
I mean, I think all players can bounce back.
It's good to have faith in players to bounce back. But Brad Hand was consistently bad.
Yeah, at times, but he has a lot of his good years with Cleveland. I think it's just like when he left Cleveland to go to, I think Toronto. I think it was the first team he moved to. I think he had some good years there, and for some reason he just hit a roadblock. I think, and it happens to a lot of players. It doesn't matter if it's a pitcher, hitter. It happens.
If he bounces back, then great. But if he doesn't,
that's at least it was only for a year. So I mean, that's.
I mean, and I think he doesn't have a trade clause, so we can trade him halfway through the year for a pitcher.
Pretty much, and this is why I talked about it in my previous show, the Phillies talk. We can probably when it comes to the trade deadline, there is a possibility we could probably move if Brad Hand doesn't work out. We could probably definitely move him at the trade deadline, but kind of with the free agents, obviously, technically. Around 2 a.m. last night, I don't know if you saw the news that Carlos Correa is now a Minnesota Twin for the next 3 years.
I saw that earlier.
What the hell?
Listen.
Oh my God.
I didn't expect Correa to go anywhere else except for Houston. But apparently he walked out of Houston. He gets picked up by another team, which ended up being the Minnesota Twins late night
in the
morning hours.
Yeah, and into this morning, but it is a 3 year, $105.3 million contract, which includes 2 opt-outs after the first 2 seasons. So basically, they gave him like an NFL type contract.
So he can opt out of that contract twice.
And if they can trade, and that's an easily movable contract too at the same time. So they pretty much got him from cheap.
Yeah, it's not a bad move for Minnesota at all. You get a great player in Correa for a cheap contract like that. Like, it's not bad.
And because I actually have the article put up, because actually they gave the grades some of the free agent signs, so they gave that an A+, which rightfully so.
For sure.
I know Houston fans don't like it.
Yeah, Houston fans of course don't like it, and rightfully so. He brought you guys. He's one of the pieces that brought you a championship
for the first time in franchise history.
And now he's gone. Of course, they're going to hate that move. But
the next small sign, I know this is probably not the most important signing when it comes to other teams. The Tigers picked up right-handed pitcher Michael Pineda to a 1 year, $5.5 million contract. And let's be real, I forgot he was still in the league. That's the crazy part.
I don't know what his stats are. Honestly, I don't know if they're good or bad, but I've heard of Michael Pineda, and he's not a bad pickup considering of what I've heard. This could be a good start for Detroit to get better,
Oh, absolutely.
to improve on what they've been able to do and what they haven't been able to do. What holes do they need to fill? And they're filling in holes.
And I think the first big move, and this is why I think the Detroit Tigers, I feel it's going to be this very slept on team of that American League Central because of the kind of the move. Has they got a couple the top two prospects coming up, and that's Spencer Torkelson and I can't remember his other name because he's another high ranked prospect in that organization. So they're about to come up very soon, sooner rather than later. And I think, man, it's just crazy to really think like for a team that was in the World Series back in 2014. Kind of was bad for what 3-4 years, maybe give or take, maybe 5 years.
The problem with the Tigers when they made it to the World Series is that they just ran out of cap. They ran out of cap, and they needed to get rid of.
Okay, that makes sense.
They needed to get rid of players, so they just went on a fire sale, except for getting rid of Cabrera, and then they tanked. And they've been terrible ever since because of this fire sale. But the problem is, for them, they need to build further. They got Michael Pineda. Good. Great. That's fine. Move forward. Get better each year.
Oh, definitely. And especially with Michael Pineda, I thought we can kind of take a look right now. So right now,
look at his stats. Look at his stats. 9-8. 3.62 ERA.
That was from last season.
That's from last season. But look, 3.62 ERA. He's not a terrible pitcher, but he's on the downswing, clearly.
I mean, yeah, he's been in the league for over a decade, actually, from 2011.
He's on the downswing. Yeah, he's on the downswing, but it's not a bad short-term pickup.
No, and the fact that he's a solid 3 to 4 in the rotation for a guy like him. But yeah, they haven't projected going 9-7 with an ERA
of 3.94.
Yeah, 3.94.
Yeah, I see that. I see that. That's really realistic when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, I mean, man, All-Star as a rookie in Seattle in 2011. Jeez, with a 3.74
in 2011, man.
Look at 2014, 5-5 with a 1.89.
Yeah, but then right after that it was hiked up, and then he dropped his ERA to 4 down.
Yeah,
I mean it's hovering around like the low 4s, but like also hovering around the high 3s.
Yeah, so high 3s, low 4s.
It's not like he keeps trending up to where his ERA is getting high and high and high. It's hovering.
Oh, absolutely, because it's
it's not. He's not terrible, but he's not great.
Exactly, like you said. I mean, they get him on the cheap $5.5 million deal. I mean, he's probably not the short. He's not like the long term, but if you can get him, obviously it is for the short term because obviously, the Tigers are one of the younger teams when it comes to their players because it's obviously having Javi Baez at short, which I think, let's be real, I think the original shortstop was absolute garbage last season. He just could not do anything. And I think that's probably the reason why the front office went and picked up Baez. And granted, I mean, the only thing I had knocked on Baez is his lack of discipline at the plate.
Oh, no. His discipline, I don't even know if he was disciplined at all last year. Last year, he just swung at every fucking thing.
Like if you bounce a 50-foot curveball in the dirt, he still swing at it. Like that's just that's really how undisciplined he really is. But as a defender, he's an elite defender for a guy.
Yeah, he can play his position, but the problem is his plate discipline and his, it's how the hell horrendous. Go back to your 2016 year when you won the World Series with the friggin' Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
Your plate discipline was at an all-time high then. You go to New York and your plate discipline
just sunk it up.
Stopped. You just stopped being disciplined at the plate? Like, the fuck?
I don't know. But when it comes to other Drew. Oh, geez, I know this probably name sounds a little bit familiar. Drew Smiley signs with a 1 year deal with the Chicago Cubs.
Chicago, I feel fucking bad.
And it's only a $5.25 million
This
deal.
this man used to be good for the fucking Braves.
And
Goes
stunk it
to
up.
Philly, stunk it up in fucking Philly. Goes to another team, stunk it up there. I'm like,
Ah.
like you just magically just sucked. Like the fuck? But
But
yeah.
yes, I mean, like I said, talked about in the free agency yesterday was probably the bigger signings that we've ever made, excluding Schwarber, and that was the Phillies landing Nick Castellanos on a 5-year, $100 million contract. The fact we're paying two guys for who's combined with 9 years, about almost 150 million between the two of them. That's
And can
very
I tell
cheap.
and can I tell you and can I tell the fans something?
Hey, shoot, this is our
I'm
show,
telling
buddy.
you, Philly. I'm telling you, Philly fans, calm the fuck down when it comes to this damn team. Every
Well,
fucking year.
and that's kind of
You're like,
basically what I.
here's the thing. Here's the thing. Oh, we get Schwarber. Where we need pitching. Fucking we get Castellanos. Where we need pitching.
And it's not just
We
pitching
got,
that.
bro. We got a fucking lineup that can hit the damn ball. We want to know why those leads have been fucking blown.
Because we don't have a great lineup. Because
Don't have a fucking offense. Oh, you gave up two
like
runs, and then they get out of the inning, and then the 1, 2, 3 go back in.
like the
The
only
guy
two
comes
guys
back.
which was the
Guys,
offense was Hoskins and
hold on,
Harper.
hold on. Let me finish my thought. 1, 2, 3 inning. We don't do shit at the plate. Pitcher comes back out, gives up 2 more runs. It's like 5-4 now. 1, 2, 3 inning. From us. Pitcher comes back out. He blows another run. That could be avoided with a goddamn lineup.
Absolutely, and the fact that we had like 4 out of the 4 guys in line can hit 40 plus home runs, that had the potential to do that. That's JT almost hit 30, and he has the potential to be a 40 home run guy. Harper, I mean, we all know he can do it. Hoskins was close to it.
And here's an added part of my point. There's some teams that made the playoffs last year with absolutely abysmal freaking bullpen play. Absolutely abysmal. And they still made the playoffs. Want to know why? They had lineups to do it.
And they can. It's basically that's absolutely true. You get to think about it too. It's like if we score a lot of like 15, 20 runs a game, I mean, we don't really have to worry. But then again, not like but I do think with casting and the fact with the universal DH in play, which is, let's be real, that's probably the smartest move that Major League Baseball has done, and also cutting out that extra the quote unquote ghost running rule, which me and my co-host here we've been screaming for a year. But the fact that
ever since our win in fucking the 10th inning, it was literally the first freaking play of the 10th inning, we get a hit, the game's over because the guy on second scored. Yeah, we were happy about that, but we were bitching. We were bitching because it was so fucking cheap of a win because of that second guy on base rule.
And not to mention that makes it even much more stressful as a player and watching as a fan. It's like, fuck this shit.
For me, it doesn't make it stressful, unless you have really piss poor pitching.
Well,
which obviously we had. But the thing is,
I think we got better as time went on. When it comes to like like you said, we got some couple decent arms. That's a good idea. That's a good point. Jorge Soler did sign with the Miami Marlins for 3 years, $36 million. But
Jorge Soler signed where?
To Miami. So he's going to be with the Miami Marlins.
Honestly, people were like,
there was no way we were going to get him. And besides, he was a below average defender.
He was like,
I mean, he's good, but he's not great.
that's the thing. I wasn't really worried about getting Jorge Soler, like at all.
I mean,
My biggest worries were Chris Bryant, Castellanos,
and Schwarber,
and Schwarber. That was it. We got 2 out of 3. I'm happy.
and
And we also got Knebel. I'm happy.
that was way before the lockout. And obviously today, Camargo actually looked pretty good in his first spring training game with the Phillies. He looked really
Johan
solid.
Camargo?
Oh, he looked solid at third base. He was playing third base today for the Philadelphia Phillies.
He's a great defender, but his hitting is kind of.
I mean, he's an okay hitter, but I'm thinking to myself like
he hovers around like 230.
Yeah,
he's terrible. He is dog shit at the plate.
I mean, he's a decent bench piece we could probably get because Brad Miller's now gone to Texas.
Oh my god, that was the biggest fucking crime. Getting rid of that motherfucker.
But yeah,
we got rid of him just to sign Johan Camargo, who didn't do
Camargo
shit.
was before. This was before.
He literally gets sent down because he was so shit at the plate by the Braves. Sent down to AAA. Gets called up during the World fucking Series. I'm like, the fuck.
Well, and we did sign Camargo before the lockout, and this was way before Brad Miller left for Texas.
And guess what? Everybody was rightfully pissed about it.
Oh, absolutely. But I would not be surprised if Dombrowski would find a way to bring Brad Miller back, because he didn't. They let him walk once. Dombrowski brought him back. So never say never when it comes to bringing Brad Miller back into the Phillies uniform. But other than that, on other signings that was going on, that's a good point. Everyone was kind of shitting on the defense a little bit.
Everyone's saying the defense is terrible. They have Daichi, good defender. Gene Segura, good defender. Alec Bohm will bounce back and play better defense. CD, okay defense. Here's the problem that I have. Didi is on a downturn of his career.
I think this
is you cannot tell me Didi. Oh, Didi was hurt. Yeah, he was hurt. Doesn't excuse shitty not being able to place the fucking glove on the fucking ground.
I think this year might be as his
last year of his contract. Plays.
This is last year of his contract, because obviously it was
if he doesn't perform better on defense, and if it is the fact that he was hurt and he plays better defensively,
and he actually did look like he actually had played really good defense today, even though it was a spring training game, but he looked solid. So I'm pretty sure Speaking
of spring training, I heard Nola did pretty okay today.
He actually was pretty solid though, except for the two solo home runs he gave up. Like he almost struck out 5 in almost 2.5 innings of work. So it looks like he's kind of starting to rebound from his 2 subpar seasons. So I'm really happy to see that, because we are going to really, really need him.
We're relying on Nola, Wheeler, and Suarez in our top 3. And then we have Eflin coming back.
And we got Gibson.
Hopefully. And then Gibson. I don't know what the fuck was up with him last year. I think it was just like our bullpen that ruined shit for him.
I would think so, yeah, because that
wouldn't explain his 5-point ERA last year.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like, I don't know. Like, he was good prior to the All-Star break or before the trade deadline. I think it was because it took him a while to get accustomed to.
Yeah, see, that's a very good point, because it's like when you get to a new team, it's like kind of difficult time to get adjust, like, the new surroundings, like because especially in here in Philly, you have expectations. That's just how it is.
I know this isn't pitching, but look at Harper.
Yeah,
Harper struggled for like the first 2 months of 2019.
And then he just started on a win on the home run hitting spree.
He went the fuck off late 2019. He really went the fuck off in 2020. 2021 he went off again. It was
like I think Harper, as he gets better with age, I would not be surprised if he was still making case for like multiple MVPs going down the road because the kind of player that he is. But
I feel like this year he's gonna win a second MVP.
But then again, he's probably going to be up against good competition too, going down the road. So we're going to have to wait and see. That's going to be very interesting. But another thing, because there's some other signings, because I'm going to kind of go over because we're giving like a little timeline of the free agency the last handful of days. So Braves bring in Dodgers closer Kenley Jansen on a 1-year deal, and I think and I talked to some Dodgers fans behind the scenes that they don't like Jansen when he was with the Dodgers. Because I think from what they told me, they said he blows games.
And Philly fans wanted the guy?
I think it was us, the Padres, and a few other teams were in the mix.
No, I'm not talking about the team itself. I'm talking about the fans, Rob.
I haven't heard of anything about that.
The fans were like, bring in Kenley Jansen. Did you not see it last year?
And not to mention, too, that we brought in Knebel before the lockout. Hello.
Like, do you forget that we signed Knebel as a closer?
And besides, I mean, I looked at Knebel's numbers. They were much better when he was a closer.
He was like a 1-year array. I'm like, he's good.
Yeah. And he does have a record of I think 45 consecutive games. I think like multiple strikeouts. I think it was. I think that might be the record that he holds. From what I saw, but the Padres did make a trade for Luke Voit in exchange from the Yankees, since the Yankees brought back Anthony Rizzo on a 2-year deal.
Great power bat. I
guess it's like, and I mean, Luke Voit's really. Let's be real. I don't think Luke Voit's not even that bad of a player overall.
He's a great power bat.
Oh, definitely.
Like, he can knock him out of the park at will at times.
Yeah, I mean, but the Los Angeles Angels are adding Archie Bradley and Ryan Tepera to their bullpen. So Bradley has agreed to a $3.75 million deal, which is for 1 year for the Angels to bolster the bullpen, and they also added veteran right-handed reliever to Ryan Tepera after a roster spot was cleared for him.
All I gotta say is good luck with Archie Bradley's inconsistent ass. All I gotta say.
Yeah, but and then Corey Dickerson joins the Cardinals on a $5 million contract.
The best journeyman ever. Just saying.
Yep. And then
that man's basically that Corey Dickerson is the equivalent of Josh McCown.
Oh gee! Oh my god.
He's a journeyman, but he's good. Like he should not be a journeyman.
But and the fact that he's still young too, like in the early 30s, I'm not mistaken too, which is really crazy for him to be as young as he is.
How many teams has he been on? For years? I know he was with us for like a year, and then he was traded off somewhere else, and he was traded off again.
He went to Miami.
He was in Miami first. He was in Miami first, and he went to Philly. Then he went somewhere else a year later. I'm like, oh my god!
I can't remember the other tems.
No, so you know who he is. You know who he is, right? He's a fucking Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh god! Oh jeez!
He's just a fucking placeholder. That's all they've been using him, as a fucking placeholder for a year.
Yeah, that's true. But it goes to say that
I don't fucking get it. He's like 30, and he's good.
Mm-hmm. Still a crime that we let him walk, so that's a whole nother story in another day. But
he's a placeholder for us.
Sure. But he was very productive for us, too.
Yeah, true. But still, he was a placeholder. My point exactly.
So we got a Luke Raley who's heading to Tampa in a swap with the Dodgers. It says to go that Tampa Bay and the Dodgers are in agreement on a trade to send outfielder Luke Raley to Tampa Bay for Double-A reliever Tanner Dodson, who has played the outfield in the past as well. I don't know who the hell that is.
Listen, there's going to be a lot of minor league fucking deals that no one knows who the fuck the player is. It's like, who? The fuck is that?
Excuse me? And March 17th, and I think everybody knows where this headline was going. Freddie Freeman to the Los Angeles Dodgers. I think you and I think many other baseball fans knew this was going to happen.
Because he was going home. No, he wanted
And
the teams. He wanted to go home, so he went home.
and not just that, he actually threw some shade against Atlanta. Oh, he did not, because
Atlanta, no, he didn't. He didn't throw shade at Atlanta per se.
but somewhat
He just said
because
He just said he was happy to be home.
not just that, because from what I've
What
understood,
what
like,
what what, what I heard from him, he was happy to be home. And
and
the real people who were throwing shade were Bra- were Braves fans.
I mean, they deserve to get
Oh,
to good throw
oh,
shade.
you literally were like, they don't deserve to throw shade at him for wanting to go home.
No, I'm talking about the Braves. I mean,
The Braves didn't say shit. It
no,
was
I'm
the
talking about
Braves
the
fans, bro.
no. That's what I was saying. The Braves fans should be throwing shade at the organization for letting him walk.
Okay.
That was my
But
bad.
yeah,
I might
but
have worded that wrong.
yeah, I thought you were talking about throwing shit at fucking Freeman.
No.
No, what I heard from Braves fans like, oh, you don't deserve to be a Brave anymore if you're gonna say that shit. Like,
Mm-hmm.
really?
And it's just like, and not just that too. Like him and Chipper Jones have a brother kind of relationship when he was with Atlanta for the. And think about it, like I looked at the timeline of Freddie Freeman's career when Chipper Jones was still with the organization. Yeah, he was the face of the organization. He passed that torch down to Freddie for the next 10 years after when he retired. Like he was Freddie Freeman was like kind of like the first base version of Chipper Jones, but only from the left side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And just like I don't know. Hey, like yes, I get he's from California, but I think we always knew it was coming. But at least I think then again, but I do hope the success best for him because let's be real. I mean, the fact that Freddie Freeman was it 33.
Mm-hmm.
He still can produce, but look out NL West. I can tell you that much. I know my buddy Eric from the XT Experience. I know he's happy about that. So it was a 6 year.
Anybody. Here's the thing: anybody who, if they were anybody's freaking fan base, if they would have gotten Freddie Freeman, they would have been up in arms, happy as hell, jumping up and down, going fucking nuts. Hell, if Philly got him and we ended up ditching fucking Hoskins, I'd still be happy, knowing that I liked
I think at
Hoskins.
least Hoskins. Yeah, see, no, that's an interesting fact because about Freddie Freeman. He is a Canadian American, which like that was a head scratcher to me. So that's an interesting fact about Freddie Freeman because he lived in obviously born in Cali, but it was throughout Canada. But next free agent signing that the Cubs did, they signed Jonathan Villar and Michael Givens to 1 year deals to join the Cubs.
VR is a good pickup, but I don't even know who the hell that other guy is at all. Like,
I think he used to pitch for the Rockies at one point.
I still don't know who the fuck.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Is,
Rockies don't have nothing. Nobody known like a Trevor Story or Nolan Arenado. But we'll get to the Rockies in just a second. But the Tigers do agree to, and Andrew Chafin does agree to a 2-year deal with the Detroit Tigers. So it looks like they're kind of improving their bullpen, which I feel it was kind of somewhat of their Achilles heel at times in certain games. But I do think, because I think Chafin's not that bad of a pickup. It's a 2-year, $13 million deal. I thought he was probably a decent arm on the market. But unfortunately, and then we get to the next one. Infield Brad Miller signs a 2-year deal with the Texas Rangers. It's a 2-year, $10 million deal.
Listen, he ain't going to be on a team that makes the playoffs, so it doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, but then we get to the Rockies and Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant signs a 7-year deal worth $182 million to the Colorado Rockies.
I know Chris Bryant's a fan of the Rockies, and it's pretty much the only redeeming quality as to why they got him. Otherwise, how the fuck did they get him?
And not
after getting rid of their quality pieces like Trevor Story and
Arenado
and pretty much tanked.
And think about it this way: they get, like you said, they got rid of Arenado, but they also paid the Cardinals $50 million to take on his contract at the same time. So they were just
like, but how do they end up getting Chris Bryant in the sweepstakes?
I have no idea.
They're a terrible team. Like when we got Harper, we were trying to contend.
Yeah,
and we've been trying to contend. with Colorado, they were trying to tank.
It's like Colorado's like, and not to mention, I mean, Colorado's just like one of the places in Major League Baseball. It's the only place you can make an argument that that's the only place you can probably inflate your numbers, and because obviously with the thin air over there,
the whole high altitude thing with
and
air.
And plus, like the corner, the field is I think short in dimension, except for center field's a little bit is deeper, so it's kind of like it's a weird funky dimension. So
yeah.
And here's another one I feel like for me that took me by surprise. The Blue Jays take Matt Chapman in a trade swap with the Oakland Athletics for minor league prospects.
I don't know what the fuck the Athletics are doing.
I don't know what the Oakland A's are doing right now, man.
They're probably fucking tanking. That's all I gotta say. If they're trading Matt Chapman of all people for picks, you gotta think they're tanking.
That too, and you got that, or they're probably still stuck in the Moneyball era and see if it sticks. But let's be real, that Moneyball thing has been relevant for 20 years. So I mean, just
like the thing, the Moneyball thing can work for small market teams.
Oh, it does.
It works, but for the big market teams, they don't have to do that.
Exactly, and unfortunately, the way that it did, and obviously. Slugger Kyle Schwarber is heading to the Phillies on a 4-year well, they didn't say it was a 4-year, $79 million deal to the Philadelphia Phillies.
I literally texted you in all caps.
Yeah, because
we fucking got him.
Yeah,
literally in all fucking caps when I texted you. So I was so excited about it because I like Schwarber. I liked him in Boston. I saw him last year.
And I know he was a pain in our ass when we faced him with the Washington Nationals.
Oh my fucking god! Every time he was up to bat, fucking fly ball,
like goodbye baseball.
Field, that's out of here. And then him with the Cubs, absolutely fucking raked.
Yeah, and the fact that, and his comeback story too from that torn ACL earlier in the year, and the fact that he was. And this is why I feel like some of these injuries that some of these athletes are coming from. It's more like someone at the superhuman level, like an ACL. Like it takes you out about a year or two to finally get it to be 100%. But the fact he did about I think 7 months, I think it was a time span, and
but the best part about Schwarber and this signing, guess who the hitting coach is?
Yeah, you got Kevin Long, who has.
Kevin Long has ties. Who literally made this guy even more deadly with Washington. More deadly with Washington. So you cannot tell me that this lineup is not going to be good this year.
No, I mean the fact but this is where it's going to be very interesting to see this year. But then also regarding with the Chicago Cubs, they also land Japanese superstar Seiya Suzuki on a 5-year, $85 million deal. From what I've understood, like he was probably the top power hitter in the Nippon professional baseball with 38 home runs. So,
all eyes were on him.
Like
all the teams were looking for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody. And I'm glad to see that the Cubs wound up winning in the sweepstakes against all 31 fucking teams. So
absolutely. Yeah, go Phillies, man. But
I need Murray State to win.
Oh yeah, talk about college basketball. Good luck with the Phillies. Absolutely. I appreciate it.
I didn't do a fucking bracket this year. Fuck the bracket. Every time I do a bracket, all the first round teams that I pick fucking lose, except for fucking Villanova.
Yeah, but and then I think for me. I feel like this kind of makes sense. Zach Greinke is returning to Kansas City, where it all began to start off his career. I was like, damn, he's been in Kansas City.
Oh yeah, when he was a fucking psycho.
Like when he actually threw in the upper 90s before like the control pitcher that he is today.
Yeah, he used to be a fucking psycho.
Yeah, it's just like I think. And then also the Reds, and this is I think, and a lot of people are always to criticize the Reds too because obviously when they traded Eugenio Suarez and Jesse Winker to the Seattle Mariners.
Here's the problem that I have with the Reds. Why
Shoot.
the hell did you build the team solely on fucking cap? You ran out of fucking money. And now you have to get rid of all your good players. And rebuild again.
Now, my question is: do you think Joe Votto should ask out of Cincinnati because of what the kind of the and you had Zach Kozar, one of the better former best players that they had, come out and said
Hell
something. That's
yeah.
how they do business.
Hell yeah. Hell
Save
yeah.
Joey Votto, man. God damn.
Joey Votto should ask for a trade.
The fans
Reds
deserve so better.
The thing is, what they needed to do, get rid of the really bad contracts. But the thing is, they should have built slowly through the farm system 1st, and then got the high price players, kind of like Philly did. Started off with the farm, and then rebuild
and just fill in the pieces.
Fill in pieces. They got Harper because of it. They had a lot of money.
And they also did acquire Chase Petty too in a trade for because we all knew that Sonny Gray was going to get was on the trade block, so they did trade Sonny Gray to the Twins in exchange, and I think one of their pitching prospects in exchange for I think Chase Petty and somebody else. I was like, God damn it!
They need what the Reds need to do. They just need to fucking build through the farm, the farm system, and then just go from there.
And so so it goes to say that the Reds acquire starting pitcher Mike Minor from the Royals in exchange for Amir Garrett. I don't know. Mike Minor's, like you said, it's like pitchers like Mike Minor are kind of feel like on the downfall because once they've been in the league for like a certain amount of time, they tend to break down. But Amir Garrett, I actually really like what I saw out of Amir Garrett because I kind of like who Amir Garrett is as a pitcher, but I think he's going to do well in Kansas City. And the fact that, let's be real, I think Kansas City has a bright future, especially with Bobby Wood Jr. coming up for them. I mean, Brady Singer, I actually like from Florida when they drafted him out of Florida. I think
they still got what's his face?
Salvador Perez.
They still got Salvador Perez.
The only player on that World Series team that's still there in Kansas City.
They still got Salvador, so they can build around him. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're building around him,
and then try to find the right guy to replace him if he decides to retire at some point in his career.
Yeah,
which I don't see. I think Casey's doing like the right thing. Is try to build around obviously build around a veteran. I mean, you got to think it too. Like, we got a lot of young players coming up for Kansas City for a guy who's for a team as big. I don't think what are they small? I don't think Kansas City is a small market. I think they might be a small market team. Not that I think about it.
I have to look that up later.
I just realized that that just somehow came across my brain.
I don't know.
That came out of left field for me.
I have to look that up later. So
I appreciate it, Earl. I appreciate you tweeting out our show.
Tweet, bitches.
And I think you're gonna laugh at this. So Ian Kennedy goes back to Arizona on a 1-year, $4.75 million deal. So he's gonna join the shitty Arizona Diamondbacks. Good riddance.
See you, bitch.
And which is funny, it's like the Diamondbacks were good like a couple of years ago, and just all of a sudden they just took a goddamn left turn out of nowhere and just shit the bed.
I don't know, dude. But that's the same thing. That was what I thought about the Royals. They were good. They were good, and then they just went shit out of nowhere.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, that's a very good point. And that's when they started trading away Hosmer. They traded away who else? I mean, I think that's when Alex Gordon retired, they traded Mike Moustakas. They pretty much traded an entire World Series team away. I think that's where it stemmed from. Well, and then since we did talk about Anthony Rizzo going back on it's a 2-year, $32 million deal, back to the Yankees. Now, let's be real. I think Rizzo's still good enough to produce for the Yankees. For a guy, before he starts,
he's good enough. Look, he's still young yet, and he's still got a good career going. So
all I know is
run it back.
That too, and just make sure you have Freddie Freeman on speed dial. So next time when you play, it's like Frederick. Like literally,
Yo,
someone actually put that on a shirt.
literally, I love friendship. Frederick.
And like when he struck him out when he was struck him out when Rizzo was on the mound.
Yeah, and then Rizzo didn't even walk up the fucking plate. He just stood there and laughed.
Yeah, it's just like the friendship that these two
Like,
have.
he was
It's like
so in shock. And then Freddie's like, I was in shock. I did not think I would strike out Rizzo.
But yeah, and then the next signing that happened on March 15th, that Keith Embry and Daniel Vogelbach joined the Pittsburgh. Vogelbach, I thought, I don't know, like for a guy, I think he's pretty decent for a guy of his caliber. Keith Embry, we all know he was garbage since he left Cleveland. But that's just, we can speak for firsthand experience, and so can Cleveland.
Yeah.
But and then we did talk about, I did talk about Jeurys Familia joining the Phillies on a 1-year contract.
How do you exactly feel about that? Because I've been on the fence. Because Mets fans are telling me he's another Neris where he's blowing leads, and others are telling me he's okay.
I mean, I think he's an okay pitcher, but I think when it comes to blowing leads, I mean, he got a lot of room to. For me, I see that more as Edwin Diaz than anything else. Because Edwin Diaz, and look, I get it, he's 32, and I do think, because I think at one time he actually had a really good year with Oakland when they traded him away to Oakland. He had like a mid-3 ERA when he was with Oakland. I think a change this year might help, kind of like get everything back, kind of get everything clicking again. So I really don't mind it if it helps, improve the bullpen at least. Add another arm in there. Hey, so be it. Yo, kid, what's good? What's good, Max? What is good? Max Coverage TV. What is good, man? And since we did talk about the Mariners trade with the Cincinnati Reds, where they acquired all-star outfielder Jesse Winker and third baseman Eugenio Suarez in exchange for right-handed pitcher Justin Dunn, outfielder Jake Fraley, 2019 second-round pick Brandon Williamson, a left-handed pitcher, and a player to be named later. So my thoughts
here's the thing. The one key thing that I see in this trade that makes me think that they're tanking is that player to be named later.
That could be anybody at that point.
It's not that it could be anybody. It's the fact that they're not even addressing who the fuck it is.
And I get it. And yeah, I mean,
Winker and that's telling me it's not a high quality player.
No, I think it's probably. I feel it's like another minor leaguer. The way that it's
for sure.
But I think granted, Eugenio Suarez has kind of been on a little bit of a slide the last couple of years, but Jesse Winker, how he turned it around and become the first all-star for the first time is impressive. But I think and I took this way too, since obviously because Seattle was another team that was for the Chris Bryant sweepstakes. But once he traded for Eugenio Suarez, I had a feeling that they were going to be out of that running for Chris Bryant, and kind of like that, like you said, it led down to us and Colorado. But unfortunately, he chose Colorado because obviously it's near Vegas, so makes sense. But not, screw it. However you want to put that. And then this before, even because this also took place, and the Braves and Athletics make it the Matt Olson trade, which that sent outfielder prospect Christian Pache, Shea Langeliers, Ryan Cusick, and Joey Estes to Oakland in exchange for Matt Olson. And then they also signed into I think it's an 8-year, $168 million contract at the same time. So. Yeah, so it's pretty much because at that 8-year, $168 million deal through the 2029 season.
Right.
So when I saw this, I say, you gotta be shitting me. Are you really gonna do Freddie Freeman like that? Come on now, man. The guy's been the heart and soul of that team for the last 10 years, and the fact that and and from what I understood, like he also said like the Braves they didn't notify him that we're moving on from him. Like there was no communication with Freddie in the front office, so that's where he kind of where Freddie threw him some shade at that because like that's where that bridge was burnt because of that lack of communication.
And the fans talking shit about Freddie, no.
That
front office is pretty shit to him. So
but yeah, I mean the Mets added Adam Ottavino. I mean, he's not that great, to be honest, but it was a 1 year $4 million contract, but he was really not that great to begin with. So he's an okay, but it's not like the biggest name on the market, but it's like, yeah, that's okay. We'll just sign you to like a cheap deal. And I love Kutch to death, but he's going to Milwaukee in an agreement on a contract with Milwaukee.
Here's the thing: he's old. He is old.
Absolutely, definitely.
So he was more like I knew he was going to be a 2-year rental. I knew that, but
I enjoyed his time here in the last 2 years. I mean,
he was awesome here. He was great. He was good here.
He
was serviceable.
Uncle Larry.
The thing is,
yeah, because like you can't stay young forever, you know.
Yeah.
But
I'll still wear I'll still wear my shirt that has his name on it for fucking ever, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't give a shit.
But and then like we did say about Brad Hand, they did say he is also joining with Philly on a $6 million deal, which
to me that one, that was a whiff.
I think the first time they actually whipped in free agent. And I'll say this before we go on further: the fact that the Phillies went over the luxury tax for the first time in fucking franchise history. Are you like? It's about fucking time Milton actually want to wake up and spend some goddamn money, and well, Dombrowski too. Well, then no, Dombrowski knows how to work his magic, so it's about time we actually did the right thing and go over the luxury tax and for the right opportunity. And that was getting Nicholas Castellanos.
Here's the problem that I have with fans, like bitching and complaining. And I'm at fault for this too.
I think
I'm sorry for it. The thing is, fans don't realize when you're in the negative, you can't trade anybody. You can't sign anybody else. Like, you're stuck with that team. So they wanted to have a certain amount of money where they are flexible enough to get rid of pieces that don't work out.
Like on expiring contracts, which saves them some money.
And it saves money. I think Brad Hand's not going to work out, but the thing is, they have the ability to trade him or cut him.
And that's the reason why we had the trade deadline in the first place. So we can flip them to get somebody much more decent in return. And if that works out for us in our favor, and think about this too, I think we have, and let's be real, I think we might have a chance to, because obviously with the 12-team expanded postseason, which is no 1 game 1-63, let's be real, I do think the Phillies might have a chance to finally end that 10-year drought. Well, finally, we might have a chance.
What? Oh, I was like, what? I just said, what? He looked at me and was like, what? Yeah. I think huh?
I'm going to get your thoughts on that a little bit before we go further.
Listen, I think that the Phillies drought is over. With that lineup, over.
Pretty much. But
it's dead. It's dead. I'm telling you, with those signing, the foot is on the throat already.
Yeah.
On the throat.
But yeah, because there was like some other minor signings, but I think another somewhat big of a signing, Nelson Cruz is going to the Nationals on a 1-year deal. To the Nationals. On a 1 year, $15 million for Nelson Cruz.
Not a bad move.
The fact that he's actually he's got to be somewhere in his 40s, but he's still playing. The fact that he can still do what he's doing at the age of 40 is impressive to say the least. But I kind of want to get your guy. I kind of want to see what your grade is on the. I want to get your grade on the Phillies free agency as it stands. You know, getting Knebel. I mean, adding like a small utility guy in Camargo, adding some other pieces, and obviously getting Schwarber and Castellanos at the back end of it. I'm going to want to get your grade on that.
I'll give it a B.
Okay.
I think they need to do more. They need to do a little bit more. Get 2 more relievers, and I think they'll be set.
Yeah, and then probably I think if Hand doesn't work out, maybe go to the trade deadline and flip it for the starter, because if Eflin doesn't want to work out, because that he's a big question mark because of that knee tendonitis he's still dealing with, which knocked him out for a majority of the year after making 4 starts to start the last season. But that could be a possibility. So I mean, wouldn't hurt to kind of take a look at some other starting pitchers too. So you can probably add a potential other starting pitcher and maybe like 2 or 3 more bullpen arms. So I mean, that's pretty much about it. Think about that. Like we're just a few pieces away. Like I think this is where I think we're done.
Right. Dude,
like we're on the edge.
We are right there.
And the fact that
and the thing is, I've been saying this for a few years. We're right there.
It's just
right there.
Pieces.
We just have not done anything with it. We needed certain pieces. The former GM didn't get anything.
But the fact that Middleton it had no choice, and Dombrowski, like I'm pretty sure Dombrowski and Middleton had to talk behind the scenes, like we need to go over the tax threshold to get Castellanos, and look what I still feel like it's a goddamn dream that we still have Kyle Schwarber and goddamn Nick Castellanos for the next multiple years in a Phillies uniform. Who would have fucking thought with this team? This team is that we've been mediocre. And I said this, we've been mediocre since after 2012. Or is that I might be wrong?
We have not been mediocre since 2012. We were mediocre in 2012. We got progressively worse. We had like 60-something wins in like, what, 2016?
I think 2016. I think.
Yeah, like 60-something wins then. We were terrible. We were the bottom of the barrel team.
Yeah, because I remember.
And then we just we're right back up to mediocre. We just needed a few more pieces to go up from mediocre to good.
Yeah, and then even possible maybe going years down the road, and then if they start adding more some depth pieces, who knows how good this team can be and be very competitive like the rest of the other teams. Like I know the Dodgers are in the West, but put in perspective, like they can be competitive like the Dodgers, the Padres to some extent, but that if they don't goddamn collapse, but that's a whole nother situation itself. It's just that, and the Giants too at times, because I feel like the NL West, 3 out of the, like I said this too, like the 3 out of the 5 in the NL West are very competitive, and that's the Padres, the Giants, and the Dodgers. Because the other 2 are in the bottom dwellers, which is the Diamondbacks and the Rockies. But it kind of shows that I think Dombrowski and Milton wants to do. Oh, geez, that brings. Who knows where the hell he's winded up nowadays?
So,
Michael Franco where the hell?
I think he went overseas to fucking Korea.
I gotta double check that.
Either he went over to Korea or wherever.
He is right now.
No, I know. I think he's with the Orioles. I think.
No, he's because I saw that he's with the. I think might be a free agent if I'm not mistaken.
He was with the Orioles he was with the Orioles last year. I don't know if he's still there or not.
No, because he was with the Orioles on March 16, 2021, and then he was released by the Orioles on August 25th. Then the Braves minor league deal on August 31st, but he played 10 games.
Oh, this dude's probably out of the league.
Probably. God.
Probably out of the league.
What could have been? He was
the thing
okay.
Is, it was going. He could have been something,
and just never really worked out. It's just one of those things.
He was like this high,
like a high-touted prospect. I think one of the
high-touted prospect for fucking years. We get him. He's okay for us in the rookie season, and he was like inconsistent, and then he was terrible.
Yeah, and then it's just crazy because we hadn't had a good. Well, let's see. we haven't had a good, decent, or really great third baseman since Mike Schmidt in 1980. Like, that's kind of tells how, I mean, we've been through some decent to mediocre third baseman over the years. I think the one that comes to mind, I feel like was decent or I think decent to mediocre was Pedro Feliz at one point in his career. He was okay, but he was not the best third baseman we had. Michael, like, what could have been?
Michael, the only redeeming quality that I had with him was his defense. That was it.
He was a good defense. He was a
plate sucked.
Yeah, it's just like he's a great defending third, and this is why I think a lot of people are making a good point, because I think Matt Chapman is a better defending third baseman rather than he's decent offensively, but Chapman's more known for his defense. So that's where I kind of feel like that's where I kind of thought of, like we said, like Tyler said, that's how we remember Maikel Franco. I mean, think about it this way too. Like, I mean, we've made some good and bad trades over the years. I mean, think about it this way. November in 2007, we traded Mike Costanza, Michael Bourne, and a prospect in exchange to get Brad Lidge over here from the Houston Astros. Who would have thought we could brought someone like But yeah, and I've been seeing this, and the fact that
I'm sorry. Oop. No, I didn't realize I rolled my eyes at her. I didn't mean to.
But prayers up to David Ojabo, who torn his Achilles at his pro day. God damn, man. Yeah, so I mean, David Ojabo, one of the highly touted linebacking prospects, tore his Achilles at his pro day, which is really sad to see.
Right. Hold on, let me.
But yeah, kind of talk about a few more things before we wrap it up. Is that, obviously, Tyler, I know you're going to hate what I'm about to say. Howie got re-signed for the next 3 fucking years.
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad. The only problem that I have with Howie Roseman is his drafting. That was it.
I just feel like it was too soon, though. That's the thing. Oh my god, that's another guy. I feel like what could have been. I thought he was a decent.
That's the one who went to fucking Korea.
Yeah,
Aaron Altair,
and he balled the hell out.
I remember him watching him in the KBO and got so pissed off. I'm like, why couldn't he do that for the Phillies? This man hitting over like 290. He was hitting like 290. I'm like, where was this in Philly?
Oh, it was like, where was this at? Like, exactly. Like, the only thing we really remember him for was the inside the park grand slam. I think another guy.
The one grand slam that he hit. Like,
or like freaking. Who remembers Ben Revere wearing in the Phillies uniform?
He should never been traded. That pissed me off when we traded him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's me off. The no win.
But it's just feel like that. Obviously, I kind of feel like it was too soon for Howie to resign, to have a contract extension, even though this was his last year. But Nick Williams, for me, I felt like it was a bust to begin. I feel like, in my honest opinion, for Nick Williams.
Oh my god! Don't ever mention that name again, please. Nick Williams.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ!
I mean, at least
that was a bust. That was a bust and a half.
That's but then again, it can't be worse than that. Matt Moore is now with Texas now, so he's going to screw up Texas now on the minor league deal. Well,
Texas is fucked with that guy.
He'll
play good in the minor leagues, and they'll call him up, and he's dog shit.
Pretty much, but and I just saw that Fletcher Cox is back on a 1-year, $14 million deal, which I think that's well deserved.
I kind of get why they released him in the first place. They wanted to get him out of that previous contract so they can rework it to where he gets a $1 million deal.
Yeah,
and they also gave another person a $1 million deal too. Cut his salary.
Anthony Harris or something like that. No. Wait, because I saw that they also restructured Darius Slay's contract to free up more cap space.
That's the one.
Which that's a smart move.
He also got a $1 million deal.
And the fact that, man, look, I know how he gets a lot of hate that he does, but you got to give the man credit. Knows how to restructure a goddamn contract. Knows how to save money. The fact that with the first,
he knows how to restructure contracts. He knows how to make trades. The problem
With the
that I have
drafting.
with him is his drafting. That's it.
And just like, see, this is why I feel like I think the NFL should let the scouts should do the work. I mean they do that, but they should at least make the final decision. In my honest opinion, anyway. So that I
The
get,
problem with that is the GM is supposed to have the final
yeah, no,
say
but
because he's the GM. He
that is
is the
true.
guy that runs the team. It's like
But,
having a boss and you're not being a boss. You're just standing there.
but yeah,
He's
and
the
then
boss.
and other, last topic I want to talk about is that Claude Giroux has finally been traded to the Florida Panthers.
Congratulations, Flyers front office. You ruined Claude Giroux.
Yeah, fucked up. But then again,
you ruined
for me,
Claude
I
Giroux.
still feel like my question: do you think Giroux has made a case to be a Hall of Famer? I think he.
Hell fucking yeah, dude.
The fact that how long did he spend there? Like 10 years, give or take.
15.
Holy
15
shit!
years.
Wow, was it been that long? God damn me!
It shocked me too, but I
thought
saw
it was in 10 years. I thought it was a decade. I was like 15 fucking years, man. But hey, if he wins the Stanley Cup, I'll be super fucking pissed. Then again, I'll be pissed but happy at the same time for Giroux himself.
I'll be like, here we go again. Every time we get a player, we trade the player and he wins a championship.
I mean,
it never fails.
I mean, it really doesn't. Well, I do appreciate you, King Dino, for stopping by that, man. But
Evan Mathis gets traded to the fucking Broncos, wins a championship. Evan Mathis.
Oh my God, Evan Mathis! Oh Jesus Christ! I haven't heard that name in years.
Broncos in 2015.
What's that? Super Bowl 50?
To the Broncos, 2015 Super Bowl 50 wins.
Oh my God! But hey, look, good luck with Denver. Now
Iguodala. Hold on, Iguodala.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
He was traded from Philly to Denver, but he got traded to the Warriors. Wins a goddamn championship.
I think he won a couple of rings at the same time. He's
got
two
rings. 1-2 with the goddamn Warriors.
What the fuck? Like, Drew's got a ring. Iguodala's got a couple of rings. What was the former Sixer that has a? That's almost like a thing. God, I think another one I feel like he's super underappreciated was Lou Williams coming off the bench. In my honest opinion, he was super underappreciated.
Oh, but yeah. I don't get the hate for the guy.
But what a jeez. But that's just, it's crazy to see what. But I mean, all I gotta say is, man, good luck to Claude Giroux, and hopefully you can win a championship to add to your Hall of Fame resume. But that just, I had a feeling at some point it was going to happen one way or the other, because even though he was at the end of his 8-year deal, and which is crazy, hockey players don't get paid that much. Now that I think about it, which is crazy to understand. Mm-hmm. At least they don't pitch and complain like the NBA does or the MLB. I'm sorry, because the NHL they just like, it's like, screw it. I'll take the 8-year 75. I don't think that's pretty that. I think the Spencer contract that I saw was like less than 100 million in the NHL, but that's pretty much, I think it's pretty much like this norm. But the fact that these hockey players don't complain about their contracts, it's like, look, screw it. If you're paying me like 2 years, $7 million, fuck it. I'll take that. I'll take that. And if we win, and like say that person wins a championship on that 2-year, $7 million deal. I mean, that's a pretty cheap. I mean, it was a cheap investment, but you got the return on it. So I mean, unlike the MLB, which is a hard time, they just won't stop bitching, complaining because like some, I feel like just more the younger players than anything else. But so far, I mean, like I said, I mean the Phillies, I say give them a B- because if let's say Brad Hand doesn't work out, which I feel that's the minus part, but we can still turn that into a positive. We can flip him at the trade deadline and get like a couple, maybe an arm or two in return. If we can do that, I think that should be a pretty successful all season for Dombrowski. Was it year 2, year 3? How long?
Year 2.
Holy shit, it's been 2. Damn, that's crazy. Oh, right. That's right. He joined in 2020 before this shortened season. God, okay, that makes sense. But what the? God. Oh my God, I can't. I'm probably not going to start thinking about it, but shit. But
all right. Well, any more stuff?
No, I think that's pretty much about it for up to date, because most of the topics I had written down were kind of like some outdated ones. So this I try to go off ones that were like maybe more recent, like a day or so, like that, and kind of go over, obviously, do like a little recap of free agency, who signed where, kind of give our thoughts on it, that kind of thing. Obviously with Claude Drew getting traded, and then the Uni gets the wins over the MLS Cup winners, NYCFC, which is good to see. But the Phillies are looking really pretty sharp with, and from what I've heard, Castellanos and Schwarber should be there the next couple of days in Clearwater. So
I heard Schwarber's coming in tomorrow.
Oh boy, that's going to be crazy to look at in spring training.
Yeah.
And then once Castellanos gets there, good luck. Holy Christ. And I also said this too, like in my preview, and I think off stream, because a couple of times it's like where we get it that the Dodgers are a stacked team, even though the lineup's good, but I feel like the only easy out is Cody Bellinger. And I'll say this because like the last couple of years, he hasn't been the same guy that we saw when he won the MVP. And, if he doesn't bounce back for it, I feel like that's the one weakness that I think a lot of teams who play the Dodgers are probably going to expose that, and that's Cody Bellinger. But I have a feeling that, like I said, I think all players are going to take a rebound this year, because sometimes someone, but I mean we're going to wait and see. But that's all I got for you guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the show. I know you guys who came in late. I do appreciate you guys coming in. If you like what you see, smash the like here on the Philly Sports Talk podcast channel and the Spotlight Sports Network. All the links are in the description. Go check those out. We'll be on there. I will post like if you see any like breaking news, I'll put that on my Instagram. But with that being said, this is Robert and Tyler from the Philly Sports Talk podcast. We'll see you guys in the next episode.